The notion that men are intimidated by successful women has become a common idea, often offered by women to comfort one another when a relationship with a particular man doesn't work out. And while there absolutely may be some men who may feel uncomfortable being with a woman who is more traditionally successful than themselves, if we look at it from a perspective of energies, the issue may more likely stem from a lack of attraction and not intimidation. And to illustrate this point, we are going to use the dynamic between Nadine and Dongwoo. Nadine and Dongwoo were contestants on season 2 of Netflix's Korean dating show Singles Inferno, where 12 singles are brought to an island and must participate in various dating activities and competitions. At the end of each episode, there is a matching ceremony where each contestant must choose the one person they are most interested in getting to know better, and if two people choose each other, they pair up and leave the island together to spend a night in paradise. And upon arriving on the island, Dongwoo showed apparent interest in Nadine. He was looking out for her, giving her attention, asking questions, and generally ensuring her comfort. And Nadine's initial reaction to this on day 1 was short and shy, and not particularly friendly or inviting. However, on day 2, she realized what she felt was the error of her ways and pulled Dongwoo aside to apologize for her cold behavior and to tell him that she prefers to focus on getting to know one person at a time in an attempt to assure Dongwoo of her interest in him despite her first impression. But nevertheless, on the first matching day, Dongwoo chose Sulki and left to spend the night in paradise with her, leaving both Nadine and viewers confused. However, Sulki isn't really feeling Dongwoo and he is soon back on the market, and him and Nadine go to paradise together shortly after. And in paradise, we learn that the two of them have an age gap and that they are both highly driven and ambitious people. Dongwoo is a successful plastic surgeon in Korea and Nadine is a pre-med student at Harvard University, so she's traveling back and forth between the US and Korea. But still, despite the initial attention and a trip to paradise, we get the sense that Dongwoo just isn't really interested in Nadine, and it's proven later since despite a straightforward rejection from Sulki, he still chose her and not Nadine in the end, even knowing she wasn't likely to choose him back. While fans loved Nadine, it seemed that Dongwoo just didn't, leading many to speculate on why he wasn't interested in her, with one popular theory being that he was intimidated by her drive and success. But as I mentioned already, men typically really aren't intimidated by a woman's drive and success, but rather it's about an imbalance of energies between the woman and himself which causes a lack of attraction. You've probably already heard of Yin and Yang, and they represent two opposing but complementary energies, Yin known as the feminine and Yang as the masculine. And the more the two are in balance, the more harmonious something feels. This is one true example of opposites attracting. And we all have both yin and yang within us individually, as does any relationship. Feminine energy is being and masculine energy is doing. Doing is productive, competitive, and ambitious. And Dongwoo is a very masculine man, both in appearance, but more importantly in energy. Striving for the amount of career success that he has takes a lot of doing energy, and he probably spends a great amount of his life in his masculine energy and thrives there. And a woman with the level of ambition as Nadine also spends a lot of time in her yang or masculine energy for the exact same reasons. This is the case for many women now that we are self-sufficient and have thriving careers, but because energies will always balance out, men now on a large scale embrace more of their own feminine sides. But there are still men who are more in their traditionally masculine energies, and because of their high level of drivenness and ambition, they attract all sorts of women, including those who are dominantly in their masculine energies themselves as well. But the thing is that the type of man who is very masculine will typically be most attracted to a woman who is more in her feminine energy due to the natural balances. And here I am still talking purely about the energies of yin and yang. Whenever a man is feeling intimidated by a woman, then it's likely not for her strong masculine energy, but in such cases it would rather be because of her cultivated and authentic feminine energy. We are all attracted to people who are self-assured and secure in themselves, and a man who is confident and secure in his masculine energy is most likely to be attracted to a woman who is confident and secure in her feminine energy. And these days, so many women have greatly cultivated masculine energies, but struggles with being in their feminine energy to no fault of their own. The problem is not that we are in tune with our yang, it is when we're not in tune with our yin. And I'm going to expand a little bit on this before you start thinking that you should just quit your job and drop your ambitions, because that's not the point. As mentioned, we all, both men and women, have masculine and feminine energies within us. As a woman, cultivating your masculine energy into productive things, such as working or having a career, can definitely be a good thing. But a lot of women have underdeveloped feminine sides to go with it, and it can make us uncomfortable with the most important feminine traits, such as receiving and letting go of control. Instead, we'll draw from our masculine energy at all times, and it makes us take control of situations with men where what we really need to do is lean back or let go of control, because in situations where we don't, we always force the other person to do that. And a lot of masculine men won't have it. In the beginning of them meeting each other, Dongwoo was friendly and attentive with Nadine, but she clearly wasn't able to feel comfortable with the attention. This is one sign of being uncomfortable in your feminine energy. And because of the events that followed, we know that Nadine could sense this herself. Because she feared she didn't make a good first impression, she would most likely have been better off trying to correct that by changing her behavior and being more friendly and receptive, instead of attempting to assure Dongwoo with words that she was interested in him, which he probably wasn't worried about. This amount of assurance from someone we barely know and who we are only develop an early interest in can feel quite over the top and unnecessary and come off as quite insecure. And when it comes to masculine men, it robs them of any perceived challenge of having to impress you or win you over, which masculine men like to have to do. After the show aired, plenty of fans have been accusing Dongwoo of leading Nadine on because he treated her well and showed an interest in her, but then didn't choose her to go to paradise, which I find totally ludicrous. We are all, both men and women, allowed to change our minds or how we feel about someone at any given point. And for the most part, our level of attraction to someone isn't even within our control anyway. You cannot blame people for who they are attracted to and how that attraction fluctuates, and much less so early on in the dating game where no commitments have even been made. If you are exploring a connection with someone, you are allowed to walk away at any given point, man or woman. Doing so is not unkind, and protecting other people's feelings above your own best interest is not your job, and it's no one's job to do that for you either. When watching shows such as these, or just talking about men with your girlfriends, people will try to come up with reasons as to why a person doesn't like you, such as people saying that Dongwoo might not have wanted more to do with Nadine because of the long distance, or again, her ambitions. But the real reason is in most cases more likely a lack of attraction, because a man who is deeply attracted to you will move mountains to be with you. But this is just one analysis, and all of this aside, remember that you can do everything right and still not get the outcome you're hoping for. Because if someone simply just doesn't really like you, that just isn't within your control. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider supporting me on Patreon. As a patron, you will be part of a small feminine community and help me decide on video topics and what videos I post next through members-only polls. Thank you for watching and subscribe to my channel for more.